Namaste, and welcome to our continuing series on the life divine with our brother Ranga. We are on page 282, the sevenfold chord of being. First para.
And we have to read the paragraph beginning with, but mind, life and matter. So it's been 2 weeks, so for the continuity, I am reading to you what he has said in short in the previous para. He is asking a question, but is the cosmos only these three principles? And what are those three principles? Existence, consciousness and ananda. He is asking a question. Existence, consciousness and ananda have no necessity to manifest. They could have remained without manifestation. But even if they did, there would be only a collection of odds and ends without order or sequence, a haphazard chaos. To bring order, meaningful relations of all created things, necessarily knowledge and will must work together harmoniously. This will ensure order, sequence, and proper relations in the infinite multiplicity of the cosmos. First, there must be an intention, a plan. Next, there must be power to execute the plan. And lastly, the capacity to uphold and govern the creation. Without these three things, there would be chaos. The power to plan, which is the real idea, the blueprint. The power to plan, create, execute, and govern is exactly what the supermind is. Therefore, the supermind is also always present in the cosmos. It is referred to in the Veda as the Turiyam Svid, the fourth unknown. The first unknown is the physical world, then the second unknown is the subtle world, and the third unknown is the causal world, and the Turiyam is the Turiyam Svid, the fourth unknown. Okay, so.
Is it unknown or is it Turiyam Svid is a certain fourth?
Turiyam means fourth.
Yes. And Svid?
Svid means anything. It's uncertain.
I see. I remember Shivananda translating it as a certain fourth.
A certain. Yeah, that's right.
But we're not quite sure what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Because it's unknown. So this is what he has said in the... So we can also use the words for the physical world, Virat, and we can use the word Hiranya Garbha, the golden womb, the spiritual planes of consciousness where there is the static condition of consciousness, the Sat or the Nirvana or the in Sankhya, the Pradhana, that which is infinite, eternal, static, featureless, but contains all the features and produces them, but itself featureless. It has the capacity to bring out all these things, just like the seed and the tree. You don't see the features of the tree in the seed, but they are there. So that's the second level, Hiranya Garbha. Then the third one is the Prajna, the wisdom. And finally you have the Turiyam Svid.
And Virat?
Virat is the physical world. Yeah. Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Prajna, and finally the Turiyam Svid. This is a way of dividing these four planes of consciousness.
So the Virat, there is a wonderful line in Savitri, at once the art and artist of his works. So what are various? Yes.
And there's another line.
Yes.
Virat, who lights his campfires in the sun.
Yes.
Okay, so now we read the para. But mind, life and matter, the lower trilogy, are also indispensable to all cosmic being, not necessarily in the form or with the action and conditions which we know upon earth, or in this material universe, but in some kind of action, however luminous, however puissant, however subtle. I'll read the whole para first. For mind is essentially that faculty of supermind which measures and limits, which fixes a particular center and views from that the cosmic movement and its interactions. Granted that in a particular world, plane or cosmic arrangement, mind need not be limited, or rather that the being who uses mind as a subordinate faculty need not be incapable of seeing things from other centers or standpoints, or even from the real center of all, or in the vastness of a universal self-diffusion. Still, if he is not capable of fixing himself normally in his own firm standpoint for certain purposes of the divine activity, if there is only the universal self-diffusion, or only infinite centers without some determining or freely limiting action for each, then there is no cosmos, but only a being musing within himself infinitely, as a creator or poet may muse freely, not plastically, before he proceeds to the determining work of creation. Such a state must exist somewhere in the infinite scale of existence, but it is not what we understand by a cosmos. Whatever order there may be in it must be a sort of unfixed, unbinding order, such as supermind might evolve before it had proceeded to the work of fixed development, measurement, and interaction of relations. For that measurement and interaction, mind is necessary, though it need not be aware of itself as anything but a subordinate action of supermind, nor develop the interaction of relations on the basis of a self-imprisoned egoism, such as we see active in terrestrial nature. Quite a complicated... we'll try and unravel what he's saying. We'll try, okay? Even while I was reading just now, some problems appeared to be there, so we'll see what he's saying. Basically, what he's saying is, the higher hemisphere of Satchidananda and the lower hemisphere of mind-life-body are connected. That's what he is establishing very clearly. That establishment of the connection is absolutely essential if he wants to establish a divine life on earth. If the connection is not there, not possible.
Even a creation on earth.
Yes, that's right. So, the creation is there. Even the materialist is saying the creation is there. But it's imperfect. Hardly perfect. But Srimda is saying that no, one day it will go to perfection. And if there is an evolution, I can see that there is an evolution. Even the materialists, some materialists won't even accept that. The other day I was watching a video in which scientists were there, and one person from Ramakrishna Mission and one Sadguru was there, and there was a Christian priest. He was talking very sensibly. Okay? But the scientist was saying, he's an Indian, and he's saying there is no purpose in creation.
Mental.
Yeah. But this is there. Many scientists say that. It's only a chance mutation of cells, and there's no purpose in creation. So, in fact, Sri Aurobindo also discusses this theory.
Inside he gives...
Yeah, he says, then he puts a very interesting question. He says, would you like a story, I've forgotten exactly the reference, but would you like a story which is rambling without any conclusion, without anything, or would you like a story with a fixed climax at the end and a solution to what is being said, like a novel? Which is more appealing to man?
Sometimes he uses the word denouement for that. For the final culmination, he uses the word denouement, D-E-N-O-U-E-M-E-N-T.
Yeah, denouement, that's right, yeah, denouement. Yeah, in the other class we were reading that denouement. Tomorrow I am going to explain the denouement to them. Okay, so That is exactly what he's saying. So all these things are possible. So now he is establishing the relationship. Mind is coming from supermind, our vital is coming from Chit Shakti, and the matter is coming from Sat, the subtle substance, and the Ananda is becoming the psychic being. This is the connection that he makes. That's a sevenfold chord of being. Okay? So, and supermind is the in between. It's the fourth from top and fourth from bottom. It's the center. Now, we go through each sentence and see whether it's possible to understand what he's saying. But mind, life and matter. Okay, he's using all the three words with an M cap. The principle of mind, the principle of life and the principle of matter. The lower trilogy, he also calls it the lower hemisphere, are also indispensable to all cosmic being. Earlier he has told you that Satchidananda have to be there. Because if Satchidananda is not there, there cannot be a cosmos. And a cosmos has to have order in it. And for order you need consciousness and force, both. So, now he is saying, but the degraded supermind, degraded Chit Shakti, degraded Sat also have to be there in the physical world. He will explain. Okay? Mind, life, matter, the lower trilogy are also indispensable to all cosmic being, not necessarily in the form or with the action and conditions which we know upon earth or in this material universe, but in some kind of action, however luminous, however puissant, however subtle. So, matter is degraded Sat, but there can be matter in a subtler form.
But why does he say upon earth or in this material universe?
Yes, material universe.
Why does he use those two different forms?
No, he's saying that what we are seeing in the universe, in the material universe, okay, gross matter. It need not be like that in other levels of consciousness. That's what he's saying. He's saying, not necessarily in the form with which the action and conditions which we know upon earth or in this material universe. Okay, we are seeing life, power, which is absolutely full of perversions, full of falsities. It need not be like that necessarily. But it is there in this world, but it need not be like that. Because naturally, if you go to the higher level of consciousness, okay, there the life is totally different. If you go to the life world, it is not like this. It is quite different.
In Savitri, he described true life. You know how beautiful it is. In Savitri, he described the true life, how beautiful
yes,
it is.
That's right. So, this is what he's saying, that as mind, life or matter are necessary. They are principles which are necessary. But they need not be exactly as I am seeing. In other words, what he's saying is, the mind that you are seeing here in ignorance need not remain in ignorance at all. It can become something full of light and luminosity. The vital that you are seeing here is full of perversions and dirt. It need not be like that. Because a yogi can make his vital perfectly fine. And the body also can be made a very, very subtle body. It has not yet happened. But it can happen. That's what he's pointing out. That's all.
He says it's indispensable
Yes.
to all cosmic beings.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
The lower trilogy are also indispensable. They have to be there. But not in the form we are seeing.
Also, the question comes to my mind that when he says all cosmic being, so what is there that is outside all cosmic being?
Yes.
Is there anything which is outside all cosmic being?
Indispensable to all cosmic being. But if he is saying that mind, life and matter has to be there in all cosmic being, it starts from the supermind. Because the creation starts from there. So all cosmic being, supermind downwards. It's very clear. Because
But supermind and the above three planes, they are not cosmos?
they are the cosmos which have not yet manifested in the physical world. No? Because where does creation start? At the supramental level.
Ranganath, what would be the highest word for that which is manifestation or cosmos?
That's a question of evolution. No? Until now, the mind plane has manifested. But the supermind is not yet manifested. Even the higher mind, even the illumined mind have not yet manifested
What I
fully.
am trying to ask is that for all that exists, which is the one word in English most suitable? Is it cosmos, or is it manifestation, or is it some other word? Like we have the sarvam in Sanskrit, all. So similarly, what would be the, all is there in English also. But
Anmol, I would think that depends on the definition, nomenclature. What meaning you are giving to cosmos?
cosmos, as I understand, cosmos is the opposite of chaos, and cosmos means order as opposed to chaos, which means disorder. This is the dictionary meaning of cosmos which I know.
Maybe, I don't know. You mean to say cosmos always implies order? And what's the other word?
Chaos. Cosmos is the opposite of chaos.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought cosmos means the universe.
Two meanings are there.
Well, if it's manifestation in any sense, there has to be some order in the cosmos.
Yes, that's right. So order is there, yes.
Order is there.
So that's what he's saying, that what we are seeing, disorder and chaos, it need not be like that. There can be, in other words, he's implying that there can be an evolution which can go beyond the present condition. That's the implication.
And would it be right to think that these three words, luminous, puissant and subtle, they are actually like luminous is for mind, puissant is for life and subtle is for matter?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Luminous, mind. However puissant, vital. However subtle, matter. Very clear. You are absolutely right. So, in fact, what I do, I always, whenever there is a thing which we have found, I immediately make a note of it. Okay? Mind, luminous. Then we come to save. Then we come to however puissant. Okay? So, however puissant is equal to life. Yeah, that's right.
Last one, however subtle, is matter.
Yeah, that's right. Then, however subtle is matter. Okay? So, subtle. Anmol, that was a good thing that you...
And I checked the dictionary meaning of cosmos. The first meaning which comes is the world or universe as an orderly or systematic whole opposite to chaos.
Acha, okay.
The second meaning is a complex or orderly system.
Oh, so it's very clear. What you're saying is, I didn't know that chaos and cosmos are opposites.
Greek, they use cosmopolitan, no? Organization of city, cosmopolitan.
Okay, so this first thing we have understood. Srimad is saying that although mind, life and matter are indispensable to manifestation in the cosmos, they need not be as they are now. They can be quite different. Matter also can be different. In fact, matter is already different. Gross matter is different from living matter, and brain matter is different from the others. Already there is so much of difference. So, one day even that matter will become supramental matter.
But what I'm understanding here is in the cosmos,
Yes.
before realization or any entry into matter or earthly life,
Okay.
there's no chaos. It's perfect.
Before it comes in. Before
Yes,
it comes
before
in.
it comes in.
Yeah, that's right.
Good.
But you must remember one thing. These several principles, if you remember, it becomes very clear. The one becoming the many. Okay? But the one, when it becomes the many, it starts becoming more and more gross. The subtle becomes gross. The pure starts seeming to become impure. Okay? There is diminution, there is degradation, and there is distortion, apparent distortion. Because from one medium, when you come to another medium, there is an apparent distortion. Apparent distortion. Good example, put a stick in water, air and water, you feel it is bent. Actually, there is no bend. So the ego which is there is seeing the distortion and the limitations. Actually, there isn't any. It's only an apparent. That's why Sri Aurobindo goes on using the word apparent, always.
But again, isn't everything that seems
Imperfect?
wrong or
Yeah.
imperfect
Yes.
is already perfect and working itself out?
Yes, essentially. Because your soul is perfect, but it's covered up with mind, life, body. Even the soul is potentially divine, essentially divine. It's not divine to begin with. It's sleeping.
Well, yeah. This is always the problem of soul and self and psychic being. I
Yeah.
understand the soul as being always perfect.
Yes.
Okay. So, for mind is essentially that faculty of supermind which measures and limits. So, mind is the one that makes the one into the many. It is that which makes the many, which fixes a particular center. I'll finish the sentence. And views from that the cosmic movement and its interactions. The particular center that he's talking about is the individual. Okay? The individual mortal mind which looks all around and thinks all is outside itself. That is what he's saying. He says, which fixes a particular center. And that particular center need not be a man. It can also be an animal. It can also be a worm. Okay? So that particular center is an individualization that he's talking about. So in man, I am a particular center, and my mind has been made by the supreme mind. It has limited and created an egoistic mind which I am seeing, and I am watching the world and thinking the world is different from me. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
One interesting thing which came to my mind when I read this. So the word mind, it begins with ma. And Sri Aurobindo, mind, it begins with ma. And Sri Aurobindo said that the consonant ma, he defines that limitation, finality, completion.
Yes.
So the sense of limit is inherent in the consonant ma.
Yes, because in Sanskrit, ma. Ma is the root. Ma is the root to measure. Ma. Manas also comes from there. So, do we have in English, even in English, many? Okay? Even there, the ma is there. So, in all languages, this connection very often is there in a very subtle way.
Even measure itself is starting with ma.
Yeah, even measure starts with ma.
But Ma is a divine mother. It's also like a measure you can refer to.
Yeah, because the Divine Mother is the... Yeah, that's right. So the mother, actually Divine Mother is twofold. There is the Divine Mother below and there is the Divine Mother above. Okay, so the Divine Mother below is nature. Okay.
Yes.
So, now he is saying, but this can also be the divine individual looking all around. Okay. It need not be the ignorant individual. So, this sentence is clear, na? For mind is essentially that faculty of supermind which measures and limits, which fixes a particular center and views from that the cosmic manifestation, cosmic movement and its interactions. Now that's an interesting question. For manifestation, again manifestation, I mean...
Movement also, ma.
Yes.
Movement.
So the question arises, why should you make the many? Because if you don't make the many, the one will be there. And that one, there will be no manifestation then. If there is only one, where is the manifestation? Where is the cosmos? So that's what he's saying. For mind is essentially that faculty of supermind which measures and limits, creates the many, which fixes a particular center and views from that the cosmic movement and all its interactions. I think it's clear what he's saying. We go to the next sentence.
One more thing. I heard somebody saying that because the one is perfect and indivisible, and if he wants to play, then he has to become something other than himself.
Yes.
And what could be other than this which is one and indivisible? Only that which is multiple and apparently divisible.
Yes.
So does that imply that any bahutva means any manifoldness of the one, does it necessarily have to be imperfect?
Not necessarily. That's exactly what he's saying in this para. Not necessarily. He's saying it need not be what you are seeing it to be at present. That's exact. Because a yogi can make himself quite different. Even today it is like that.
Because he becomes the one.
Yes.
The yogi becomes the one.
Okay? So it's interesting what he's saying. In fact, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Eko ham bahusyam. I am one, let me be many. Okay? That's the manyness is essential for a cosmos. Otherwise there is no play. Where is the play? There is no play. Okay, so which fixes it? Now, granted, in that particular world, plane or cosmic arrangement, mind need not be limited. Or rather, that the being who uses mind as a subordinate faculty need not be incapable of seeing things from other centers or standpoints, or even from the real center of all, or in the vastness of a universal self-diffusion. Still, if he is not capable of fixing himself normally in his own firm standpoint for certain purposes of the divine activity, if there is only the universal self-diffusion, or only infinite centers without some determining or freely limiting action for each, then there is no cosmos but only a being musing within himself infinitely, as a creator or poet may muse freely, not plastically, before he proceeds to the determining work of creation. So,
very, very interesting.
Yeah. But did you follow what he's saying? Yeah. So, he's saying that in a particular world, okay, plane or cosmic arrangement. So, in a particular world, it could be the higher worlds also. It could be also. So, in this world, there can also be an evolution. And when the evolution is there, this world is changing. Okay, so, where is it gone to? Granted that in a particular world, plane or cosmic arrangement, very clearly he is saying that life can be different in the life plane, life can be different in other spiritual planes, life can be different in the supermind also, it can be different. Okay? So, not only life, mind also will be different, matter also will be different. Granted that in a particular world, plane or cosmic arrangement, mind need not be limited. Obviously, even when you make a mind silent and go to the higher mind, it is not limited anymore. It becomes a spiritual mind. And then goes to supermind, it becomes absolutely the highest mind. And that's possible on earth. That's the whole point. Okay? So, when that happens, need not be limited, or rather, that the being who uses mind, now, very clearly, he is saying mind is different from the individual. The individual uses an ordinary mind when he is ignorant. The yogi is using a spiritual mind when he is at a higher level of consciousness. And an avatar can use absolutely the top mind.
Good point. Well, I was feeling that this is almost autobiographical.
Yes, absolutely. He is saying all this from his own experience. Nah? So rather a being who uses mind as a subordinate faculty, okay, need not be incapacitated, need not be incapable of seeing things from other centers or standpoints. So what does this mean? Seeing things from other centers or standpoints, he can identify himself with others, the cosmic consciousness. So,
What is the real center? Superman?
yeah. No, not necessarily. Even the higher mind, you can have cosmic consciousness.
No, the real center, capital C.
That's a supermind.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. It's a supermind.
So he's saying it could be seeing things from other centers or standpoints, the spiritual planes of consciousness. From the real center, supermind. Or of all, or in the vastness of a universal self-diffusion. Now, where would that universal self-diffusion be? It would be, I think, in the supermind, in the second status. There is a triple status of supermind. Universal self-diffusion. It is one which diffuses itself without disturbance, without many. Okay.
Does it mean that it doesn't have independent centers?
No, there aren't any. Universal self-diffusion, but no many.
Then that has to be the first status of the supermind.
The first
the
is...
self as all in the self, and the self in all.
Yes, not the second. Not the second, the first one.
Right?
The first one. The first status of the supermind is a oneness.
Oneness.
Okay.
So there is no separate...
Separateness starts at the second level. If you think of the sea, the triple status of supermind can be very easily explained by the sea. A sea which is completely featureless, calm, infinite, without movement. That's the first status of supermind. Second status of supermind, the swelling of the waves is coming. Okay? But each wave knows it is individual, but knows more that it is part of the sea. In the third level, the individual wave is thinking more, I am an individual, but I am also part of the sea. Jugalda used to explain this to me in this way. Second status and third status, one is more green than blue, the other is more blue than green. He used to say that to me. Okay. In the second status, cosmicity is more than individuality. In the third status, individuality is more than cosmicity. Now, below that you come down to overmind level, the many has started. Ignorance starts. You start forgetting that maybe you have the knowledge that yes, there is oneness, but the experience may not be there. Okay? So.
But when we say center, apart from saying that it is the supermind, which seems to give the impression of something neuter and impersonal, can we also say the supramental self, formulation of the Purushottama, just to make it more personal and to connect it more with divine being?
He is not discussing
that. Because he is going to use the word himself later on in the sentence.
Okay, then we have to see.
Which is a more personal touch. Otherwise, it remains all very impersonal and airy-fairy.
Yes. We'll see that. Okay. So, in the vastness of a universal self-diffusion. So, what have I put on the universal self-diffusion? Yeah, the cosmic divine. The cosmic divine. Okay. Still, if he is not capable of fixing himself normally in his own firm standpoint for certain purposes of the divine activity, we'll have to discuss what is his purpose of divine activity. He wants a many, and many means all the possibilities will be expressed. You will have one opinion, you will have one opinion, you will have one opinion, I will have one opinion. I will have a different way of looking at things, different force, different even character, everything will be different. So, that's the purpose of the manifestation. Experiencing in many, many ways. Okay, so... Still, if he is not capable of fixing himself normally in his own firm standpoint for certain purposes of the divine activity, if there is only the universal self-diffusion or only infinite centers without some determining or freely limiting action for each, then there is no cosmos but only a being musing within himself infinitely, as a creator or a poet may muse freely, not plastically, before he proceeds to the determining work of creation.
I can't understand what he is meaning.
Yeah.
I understand, but why what he is saying?
I think
still, if he is not this, that, what is the conclusion?
In another place, he discusses this. Only one sentence. There he discusses in 3-4 paras in the philosophy of the Upanishads. He is saying the physical world is very similar to the process of a poet creating poems or dramas. He's saying Shakespeare has created 14 plays or whatever, 14 or 15 or whatever. He could have created more. But there are many more in his mind. But before creating, they are all there in the mind. Okay? So, that is the first part. Then there is no manifestation. So in the supermind, all the real ideas are there, but they are not yet manifested. So there is no universe as yet. The universe starts only at the overmind level. The supermind level, there is no universe. Only the possibility of universe is there. Because the many is not there. So as soon as you come down to the overmind, the many starts.
So I now have to ask you about Sri Aurobindo as a poet.
As?
You say, as a poet.
Okay.
You say it was all in his mind first?
Yes.
Actually? Is he not bringing from those higher realms through his mind into language?
I'm not sure I understood exactly what you're saying. He's come.
If a poet is musing with himself freely, but not plastically.
So what does that mean? We have to see. There's a little bit of a problem there, okay? Freely, now tell me, what do you understand?
Yeah, no. You are saying that there is no universe in the supramental plane itself.
Yes.
Right? But like in the 6th chapter of the Mother, Sri Aurobindo says, nearer to us are the worlds of a perfect supramental creation in which the Mother is the supramental Shakti, and then she says, they are all beings, are souls and powers and bodies of the divine light.
Yes.
So he's clearly saying that there are beings in the supramental world.
Oh yes.
Then how can it be how can we say that it is not a universe if there are beings there?
It's a supramental universe. But when we talk of the physical universe, it's a supramental universe. In fact, each plane is a universe by itself. Even the life plane is a universe. And there are beings in the life plane. We know that. Elves, gnomes.
The universe as we know it. It is a supramental universe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's right. So, but it's unmanifest. Yeah. So, then we have... in fact, this is what I go on telling the children all the time. Don't think that there are no beings and they are not populated worlds. They are populated worlds. The life world is full of beings, all sorts of beings. We have had experiences in the press also with that, okay? Very interesting experiences. One machine was being guarded. You know that story, no? Yeah, okay. So anyway, that's another story. But there are beings there all the time. Elves, gnomes, we know that. Mother has any number of stories with elves and gnomes. Then, in the overmind plane of consciousness, there are these gods which exist. They are real beings. Then, even the apsaras and the gandharvas, they are also all beings that live in the spiritual planes of consciousness. In Europe, they call them angels, beings of light. But they are real. They exist in those worlds. And they interact also with us, but we are not conscious of that.
And in the lower planes, we know very well.
Yes. But that also we don't know very well because we are hostile beings there, but we are not conscious of those hostile beings. Yes.
He says freely, not plastically.
Yeah.
What does he mean by that?
I'm trying to understand. Yes. Okay. Freely, but not plastically.
So musing freely. Musing means...
Thinking, conceiving.
Conceiving, yes. It's in the thought range.
Yeah.
Right? But not...
Plastically.
What I understand is that freely is something that happens spontaneously, without thought, it's a spontaneous movement.
Okay.
But I feel plasticity is something conscious, like plasticity, it molds forms into another form.
That is what I was thinking. Also, that plastically means it's already a substance.
Yes, yes.
I got it. The root of the word plastic is plastikos, Greek root, which means to mold.
Exactly. So forms.
So now it is clear. So plastically means it is not yet manifested. That's what it would mean.
Or it can be partially manifested and then the poet has to create it.
That's right. Yes. Because plastically created, not fixedly created as in the universe. That's right. See, my God, see how accurate some of those words are. No?
Freely, not plastically.
So it is free. He has not given a mold to it yet.
Yet.
Is musing.
He's
Just
using.
musing.
Right.
He has not given any fixed form to it yet. That fixed form will be given only by the mind.
They are still ideas. They are still ideas, but those ideas have not become reality.
Yes.
Mind still
That's
is
what it
still
means.
So
overnight.
thought is in lucid state, that shall we call that, right?
We have been able to make out this plastically, na? So, plastically.
I feel that plastically actually refers more to the last part of the sentence, not to the first part. If we look at it, the creator or poet may muse freely, but not at the moment plastically. Because this is before he proceeds to the determining work of creation.
That explains plastic.
Yes, exactly.
And that's exactly what we were thinking. That's exactly what we were thinking. Yeah. So before he proceeds to the determining work of creation. Such a state must exist somewhere in the infinite scale of existence, but it is not what we understand by a cosmos. In other words, this musing freely but not plastically is in the supermind. Okay? He creates real ideas, but they are not yet manifested. But it is not it's not a cosmos. That's exactly what he's saying. Cosmos as we understand it, the physical cosmos. It is not a physical cosmos. Whatever order there may be in it must be a sort of unfixed, unbinding order, such as supermind might evolve before it had proceeded to the work of fixed development, measurement and interaction of relations. In other words, the second level of the supermind. The forms are there, the real ideas are there, but they have not yet become fixed forms in the physical universe. Okay, so before it proceeded, let's see, whatever order there may be, must be unfixed, unbinding. No? Unfixed and unbinding order, such as supermind might evolve before it had proceeded to the work of fixed development, measurement, and interaction of relations. This starts at the overmind level. For that measurement and interaction, mind is necessary, though it need not be aware of itself as anything but a subordinate action of supermind, nor develop the interaction of relations on the basis of a self-imprisoned egoism such as we see active in terrestrial nature. This is very clear. He is referring to the overmind consciousness. Because if you see very clearly, the description is very clear. For that measurement and interaction, mind is necessary, though it need not be aware of itself as anything but a subordinate action of supermind. So it is overmind which is, I am a subordinate action of supermind. You come to know that, okay?
At another place he uses the word delegate. He says overmind is a sort of delegate of
Exactly. And also the next one also is very clear. It need not be aware of itself anything but an action of supermind, nor develop the interaction of relations on the basis of self-imprisoned egoism. There is no egoism in the overmind consciousness. No egoism at all. Many is there, but no egoism. So this whole thing is very, very clear. He is talking of the supermind and the overmind level. Okay? So, such as we see active in the terrestrial nature. Now it's so clear again. Terrestrial nature, you see that there is a self-imprisoned egoism. Okay? So, we'll do one thing. We'll quickly summarize what he is saying so that we get the total idea. We looked at each word. Okay? So now, actually, to understand this, we have to refer to the triple status of our mind, and that's what we did. Okay? Freedom and determination of waves to forms. There is, number one, only the sea without movement. Number two, the waves are forming, and each wave is conscious that it is part of the sea, partly conscious of its individuality. Level 3 in the supermind, more individual awareness than awareness of the universe. Overmind, many. Ignorance starts. Okay? So the summary is like this. So, is the universe really and only Satchidananda? That's what he's asking. But we have seen that the cosmos is also at the same time a representation, an image, a figure of the Supreme Spirit. That he has decided at the second level. You remember? Is the cosmos truly supermind, or is it a reflection of supermind? That's what we discussed in the previous one. Then he says, in spiritual experience, you see that it is both. All the forms that you see have no reality, they are only images. But behind the image is the reality.
And what does Buddhism see?
Pardon?
Buddhism.
Buddhist says only you see the forms and they are unreal. When you go to the supermental level, you see that behind the transient form, there is a reality. So that's what he's saying. He is discussing that. Okay? So, is the universe really and only Satchidananda? But we have seen that the cosmos is also at the same time a representation, an image, a figure of the Supreme Spirit. And what is that image? It is mind, life and matter on the lower hemisphere, which is the universe. What then is the mind, which is the lower representation of the supermind? It's a special power of the supermind. It is to measure, limit and produce forms, individual forms. So, mind, mortal mind, our mind, is a lower part of the supermind which stations itself in a particular standpoint as in an individual and view all around itself as not itself. This is me, that is not me, not itself. Okay? The other and view all around itself as not self. The subject looks at the object. The separation has occurred from the one indivisible infinite substance, but the supermind can place itself as a transcendent, the cosmic or the individual. The supermind can take all these things. So, but if it cannot do this, there would be no cosmos, but only a state similar to that of a creator or a poet, musing within himself on all the possibles he wants to manifest, but not yet manifesting. This is the state of the supermind before it manifests what it intends to exteriorize from within itself. This is the supermind prior to exercising its power to externalize its self-conceptions into a universe. So this is what he's saying in the para. So, he is discussing the sevenfold chord of being, and he is saying that the universe is both the supreme reality, but it's also only the image. It's also the image, both.
So that means in the supramental universe also mind, life and matter are indispensable.
And for
Okay, the first sentence says mind, life and matter
Ah.
are indispensable to all cosmic beings.
that's right.
So all cosmic being will include what we call the supramental universe.
Yes.
So in that supramental universe also mind, life and matter will be indispensable.
Can you repeat what you said?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So in the first sentence in this paragraph we read
Yeah.
mind, life and matter are
Indispensable.
to all cosmic beings.
Yes.
Now the term all cosmic being will also include what we call supramental universe.
That's what you asked in the beginning also you asked the same question. Yeah. I remember that.
No. My question is not that. I don't remember asking. What I am asking is that in the supramental universe also are mind, life and matter indispensable?
But they are there, Chit, Shakti, Ananda.
No, but they are Chit, Shakti, Ananda, they are the above three and
No,
these are the lower three.
when you say mind, life, matter, what do you mean by that? They are there in the subtle form.
This is my problem. My problem is that stop laughing.
No, wait.
Yeah, Sat, Chit, Shakti, Ananda, Supermind, Mind, Life and Matter. These, as I am understanding, are the sevenfold chord of being and they are there everywhere. And here he is saying that the lower three are equally indispensable.
Yes.
So, if I say that in the supramental universe, mind, life and matter are there as Chit, Shakti, Sat and whatever, then I am not giving them their due importance which he is giving in this sentence. You understand what I am saying?
he speaks of mind as a faculty of supermind.
That's fine. But it is one of the 7 principles.
Supermind is becoming mind at the lowest level. But it's also becoming overmind, it is also becoming element mind, it is also becoming intuitive mind and higher mind. So, same thing with the others. Sat also is becoming ether, air, fire, water, earth. Then, Ananda also, total Ananda is becoming slowly degraded, and here it becomes pain, pleasure, indifference. Now, what's your question?
My question is that mind, life, and matter.
Where? Where?
Everywhere.
No.
Why?
No.
Why? Because it says 7-fold God of being.
If you say everywhere, then you must say mind in all the conditions. Life in all its different variations.
Something as I speak. So, in the secret of the Veda, Sri Aurobindo speaks of this 7 multiplied by 7. He speaks of these 49 these things.
Yes.
And from that I understand that in the supramental universe also there is something called supramental Sat, supramental Chit, supramental Ananda, pure supermind, supramental mind, supramental vital and supramental body.
Okay.
So my question is, this is what I am trying to confirm actually, that mind, life and matter are equally indispensable in the supramental world also. This is my question.
I think we are playing with words. Because Sat includes all the 7 manifestations of matter. So in that way, if you say, then yes, even matter, gross matter is there inside. But not as we see it here. That's what she said. Okay? Chit, consciousness, also is there. But consciousness as we see it here is unconsciousness also. So, all this is there latent in it. So, when you say 7 into 7, you have to include all these, but potentially, not manifestedly.
It would be a supramentalized mind, isn't it? A mind as a perfect instrument of supermind.
Can I also say that all these 7 are in all 7 because truth is indivisible? Just can I make a statement like this? These 7 principles, I am saying, are they there in each of them simply by the fact that what is the reality is indivisible?
It is indivisible essentially. But if you say that matter as I see it now, is it there in the supermind? No. No.
But the material principle is there.
Principle is there.
Right.
That's what I am saying.
And in one more volume, I guess Essays Divining Human, Sri Aurobindo says that it's like a collapsing telescope. He doesn't use that word, but it's, as I understood, like the Russian dolls.
Yes.
So Sat includes the rest of the 6. And from Sat, Chit Shakti appears, from Chit Shakti Ananda appears, from Ananda Supermind appears, from Supermind mind, from mind life, from life matter.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially it contains, it produces. Again you go back to the seed and the tree. That explains everything. So, if you meant, Anmol, that matter as we see it here, is it also existing there in supermind? No. But potentially it is existing. That is, I think, what is meant by 7 into 7. So, next time we will read mind once existent. Right?
Namaste all, and thank you for attending.